Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. I have a very interesting tarot challenge on the table today. Today, I'm going to do a tarot challenge between the Duke and Duchess of Windsor versus the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. I want to see how is history going to treat each couple? Who will actually look like the better ex-royal? The king who abdicated, or the prince who ran away because he was an angry squirrel? They have so many similarities. They both royals, British royals, married a divorced American. Some say vixen, gold digger. That's what my cards have told me, allegedly. That both wanted to disrupt the royal family. Some say that the Duchess of Windsor was more successful because a king abdicated. I mean, that was huge. It was huge. That was, really, for the times, that was like gasping unheard of. So when an ex-royal prince leaves, the spare gets dragged by the hair of his missing nuts, the angry squirrel. It's a different story, isn't it? So let's get a tarot challenge on the table. A tarot challenge on the table. And if you're new here, and if you haven't seen me do a tarot challenge, I'm going to put the Duke and Duchess of Windsor on top, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex on the bottom, upright positive, reversals negative, and then we do the reading. Oh, the clock is ready for this one. I can't wait. It's been like, where have you been? Where have you been? Let's get this challenge going. Let's get this challenge going. And I'm using the Game of Thrones deck. This is a great deck when we're talking about royals and ex-royals, and it really is a Game of Thrones. So let's see, how is history going to treat? We know how history is treating the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. Apparently there's been controversy or conspiracy, I guess you could call it, that the Duke of Windsor tried to come back and usurp his niece, the late Queen Elizabeth. There was many controversies that they were still acting like royals. They lived in Paris and France at the they were gifted a home to live in. They weren't gifted the home to keep forever, but they certainly were gifted the home to live in. And that is the last time Queen Elizabeth and Charles saw the Duke of Windsor is when they went to go see him in Paris, alive. He was on his deathbed, and they went to go see him. He is currently buried in Frogmore, and the Duchess of Windsor, she lived, I believe, about 12 years longer than he did, and she ended up dying. She had Alzheimer's. And she's buried beside him. The Duke and Duchess of Windsor are buried at Frogmore, which is another connection that Batman and Robin have with the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. I'm calling them Batman and Robin because do you see what she was wearing? Her cape, and then her little angry squirrel with her little Batman and Robin there. With her rigor mortis face. Honest to God, all those pictures, I'd be so embarrassed if those were my pictures. All right, so I think I've got the energy in there. Duke and Duchess of Windsor on the top layer. Duke and Duchess of Sussexes. Duke and Duchess of Sussex on the bottom layer. Upright positive, reversals negative. Let's get into the read. Tarot challenge. Let's get ready to rumble. Oh, the cards are ready. Okay, let's see. Ooh, 7 of Spears for the Windsors, upright. 4 of Cups, upright for the Sussexes. Ooh, Judgment, upright for the Windsors. King of Spears in reverse for the Sussexes. The Fool in reverse for the Windsors. 4 of Spears in reverse for the Sussexes. The Empress upright for the Windsors, 6 of Spears in reverse for the Sussexes, the Star in reverse for the Windsors, the Page of Swords upright for the Sussexes, Knight of Coins upright for the Windsors, the Emperor in reverse for the Sussexes. I want to make sure I get all these in. I might have to, these are awfully big cards, I might have to, there we go. Sorry about that. I bet you're dying to know what the last final cards are here. And our final card, ooh, Strength in reverse for the Windsors, and 2 of Spears in reverse for the Sussexes. Underlying 3 of Cups. They are peace in a pod, aren't they? All right, so let's get into the read. 1, 2, 3, 4 upright for the Windsors. 1, 2 upright for the Sussexes. So believe it or not, even though a king abdicated and became an ex-royal, history will treat them better than the Sussexes. And look at let's get into the read. So here we have the 3 of Cups. I think the Sussexes are in agreement with what the Windsors have done. And like I said, peas of a pod. So let's say 7 of Spears, the Empress, and Strength in reverse. So this is the pillars of the Windsors. Well, this is defending himself. Spears are wands in this deck. So this is defending yourself, taking the high ground, defending your actions, defending from all your enemies, people saying, don't do it, you can't do it, how can you do it? And he's like, sod it, I'm doing it. Because here's my queen. This is my queen, my empress. I'm doing this for my empress. And the strength in reverse here is the royal family the royal family or the royal firm, whatever you wanted to call them, was in the position of not having the strength to stop him. It was all for his empress, for his queen. He took a stand for his queen, and it weakened, in some respects, it weakened the royal family strength. This is the strength card. This is the Leo card. The Leo is the royalty symbol in the astrology, and in some respects, it did weaken the royal family. There was a well, let's just say it wasn't good times for the royal family. It was a show of weakness, and in those days it was look at this, the Fool in reverse. The Fool in reverse. In those days it was just unheard of. Like, it was like, you go back and you look at all the papers, all the paper articles, and it was worse than the king dying. That he abdicated, that he left the royal family for this harlot, for this divorced American that he thought was his queen. And here we have, he's defending himself. He actually thought he would get a second chance. Here we have the Fool card in reverse. He's like, what? What? This is him out in the cold. This is him out in the cold. And they're like, okay, well, you can marry her, but you have to abdicate. Okay, I'll abdicate, I'll go to Paris, and I'll come back. With this Judgment card, he wanted a second chance. The Fool card in reverse, but he was greatly fooled that he thought that he could come back and have a second chance. So that rumor may be true. That rumor may be true. Let's get into the other 3. The Star in reverse, the Knight of Coins, and the Strength card. Well, yeah, it just... He went from being the king to being a duke, to being basically, I'm not going to say a nobody, but he wasn't really recognized. He did a little bit of work for, I believe, Bermuda, but he was stuck. He went down to being a knight. He went from being a king down to being a knight. and he was stuck with what he had. And he had no more power or strength within the royal family. Actually, he thought he did. So this rumor may be true, that he thought, I'm just going to go marry my queen, and we'll let things calm down, and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back. I'm going to bide my time. I'm going to let everybody calm down. Just calm the F down, everybody, right? And he was very foolish. He didn't have the star power to do that at all. There was no healing, no hope that he was coming back with her as his queen. It just wasn't going to happen. So let's see what's going on with the Sussexes. Four of Cups upright. And King is, let's do the pillars first. Four of Cups upright, Six of Spears in reverse, Two of Spears in reverse. You know, I think they were given an offer to go, I don't know, go be the Governor General of Canada, or go do something in South Africa. They thought they could do better, and they are losing big time. Six of Spears in reverse. Their ego got the best of them. They are not winning in any way, shape, or form. And this Two of Spears in reverse is, I believe they're trying to look at how to come back. Like they're looking how. I think we've got some huge regrets, some apathy, some God, what did we do? What did we do? But there's no way back. This Two of Spears is in reverse. There's no plans. There's no. There's all their options are gone. So now let's look at their group of three. So we have the King of Spears. That would be the King of Wands. Four of Spears in reverse. Now my four of Wands. Remember, Spears are wands. My Four of Wands is telling me with this Four of Cups here, Four of Wands in reverse. I think we're going to have an uncoupling here. Like, think of this. Think of, here's Batman with her cape, right? There she is with her cape on. There's little Robin running after her with the mic, right? Honey, you have the mic. You have the mic. Look at this. The King of Spears is coming in and wrecking the party here. Four of Spears in reverse. Something's going to become undone, because Four of Spears upright is foundational, or Four of Wands upright is foundational. Congratulations. In reverse, it is things that become undone. So if you have a wedding, it becomes a divorce. If you start a career, it becomes a retirement or a layoff. If it's a birth, it's a death, it's a funeral. So something is definitely going to be coming undone. And I know you guys are sick of hearing that, but I think with the King of Spears here in reverse, this of course is, sorry, I neglected, this is Ari from William Morris Agencies. He is a Aries, and so this would be him, and he's in reverse. He simply doesn't know what to do with these two anymore. You might not realize it, but Batman and Robin were there at that party with Kevin Costner, because Kevin Costner is also repped by William Morris Agencies, so they jammed Batman and Robin in there. Okay, look at this. Look at this. Look at the Page of Swords. This is Angry Myra on Twitter. The Emperor in reverse and the Two of Spears in reverse. This is the Emperor. This is Charles saying, we have no plans on you coming back. And this is this Page of Swords. This is the media. This is internet. My swords are, my Page of Swords is internet, articles, blogs, like small snippets, PR. And I'm almost getting like an attack on the Emperor, because they aren't allowing them back. And if you see, there's actually an article that that King Charles did invite Harry to Balmoral, and he did not want, he refused the invitation. And I read about that. I kept saying Charles is inviting him. Remember, I kept saying Harry's at Balmoral, or Harry's at Balmoral, and nobody believed me. But I was picking up that he was being welcome at Balmoral. So that's what I was picking up on, that he was being welcome to come to Balmoral. And and I think this is this article out right now about there you're going to see a lot of attacks on Charles because they have nothing to bring to the table but attacks. They have nothing other than they make themselves feel higher by making other people feel lower. So let's get into the challenge here. So we have 7 of Spears over 4 of Cups. So the Duke of Windsor has actually something to be defensive about that he was in love and he wanted to marry this person and he took a stand. And I guess they could have remained lovers in secret and he could have married somebody else and remained lovers with them, but he took the high ground and defended his actions versus 4 of Cups here with Batman and Robin passing around a mic. And they actually have not there um, they have nothing to defend. They have nothing to defend. So now we look at Judgment over the King of Spears. I think that I think that they might be trying to give Ari another chance. Because Judgment upright is a second chance, a second coming, giving somebody a second chance. But I think maybe now they're going to look at, believe it or not, at how the Windsors did it. He might be looking at that and seeing what is there, because how they managed to still remain with some kind of royalty. They went to, I can't remember if it was Bermuda, Bahamas. They were I think he was the emperor or empress or something of that. They kept their titles, kept his title of duke. And I think Ari might be looking at how did all that go down. But you know what? That was 100 years ago and things have changed. So I don't think he's going to be very successful at that. Here we have the Fool in reverse and on top of the 4 of Spears. And I think here with the Fool in reverse is they realize their foolish actions versus the Sussexes are going to undo their foolish actions. So they just realized, okay, we really kind of made a mistake here, and we aren't going to be able to come back into the royal family. Where I think the Sussexes are just going to undo theirs. Like let's well, this didn't work. Let's just end the marriage here. I wouldn't be surprised if Ari pressures them to end the marriage just to bring PR and pump Meghan up. And what they're going to do is really slam the royal family. Here we have the Duchess of Windsor versus the the look at that. It's both both Khaleesi. Look at that. So this would be Meghan thinking that she's won. She took off with the prize. She got Robin with her cape on, Batman and Robin, but it's in reverse. So I'm going to say that the Duchess of Windsor has way more power, way more class, way more respect than the Duchess of Sussex ever will. It'll never happen. Her ego and her narcissism, well, that's what my sources are telling me, is going to run amok with this. In some respects, this star, they kind of went quiet. The Duke and Duchess of Windsor, they realized their place and they kind of went quiet. They didn't push too much with the British family. If I'm not mistaken, they weren't really allowed to come back. just, willy-nilly, like, oh, we want to go shopping at Harrods. I think in this respect, in the Star, they really kind of went quiet, went to go live their life in Paris, versus the Sussexes here with the Page of Swords are constant PR, 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 till ad nausea. Like, and so I think that's where the Windsors have won somewhat of the battle of being the more respected ex-royals, is because they did go quiet. They didn't do the constant PR, blog posts, social media. Now you can say, well, they didn't have that back then. Well, they certainly had newspapers. They had the start of news. They had news reels, and there was what were they called? Cables. That was it. And the cables that they would send back and forth. They had telephones. They had gossip back then, but they certainly didn't use that to disparage the royal family the way that the Sussexes are. Here we have the Knight of Coins against the Emperor, and this is interesting because I thought the Emperor in reverse would show up for the Duke of Windsor because he was the king, and then he wasn't. But here he is. He actually, look at this Knight of Coins, is blonde. He just kind of stood his ground. He went from king to knight. And here we show that this is, and he just, it is what it is. He didn't disparage the queen. He respected the monarchy. He was quiet about it. Maybe within his own circles, he might have said something, but he didn't take any action against the royal family, versus the Sussexes, who are constantly taking action against the monarchy, against the royal family, but yet still using their titles. And the last card here was Strength in reverse, Two of Spears in reverse. Yes, the Windsors did rock the royalty, did rock the monarchy, did disparage the line of succession and whatnot, and it did weaken them for a while. It did, in some respects, make them quite vulnerable. Let's put it that way. Versus here, the Two of Spears in reverse. The sexes, there's just no way back for what they've done. Well, you could argue a major arcana in reverse is weaker than a 2, but no, this is just a 2. So what the Windsors did made the royal family more vulnerable, really rocked it. I mean, that was a king abdicating versus just a wayward prince who had a frozen todger and lost a necklace. And it really, I mean, it's their attacks on the royal family are a bump, but it really, really didn't do that much to the monarchy that they left. Their attacks right now are, but the fact that they left, because this is the last card, what it did to the British royal family, to the monarchy, to the palace. What the Windsors did actually was more detrimental to the royalty, the British royal family, than what the Sussexes did. But their constant attacks on will not be looked. History will prove the Windsors to be the much more royal couple than the Sussexes. History is not going to be kind to the Sussexes, actually. It'll actually, what they're doing is making the Windsors look absolutely amazing. You're almost giving the Windsors a second breath, a second chance, and now realizing, that what they did for love, they did everything within the laws that they had, the line of succession, the all the regulations that they had to follow. They did that, and they did it quietly and went away and I think that truth about him trying to come back, there might be that might have legs. That might have legs. I might try and read on that. I actually might try and read on that one day. But yeah, there's the Sussexes are no better than Hollywood trash, and I mean that in the most disrespectful way, because you know there's Hollywood royalty and there's Hollywood trash, and they are no better than Hollywood hangers on wannabes. Now they're Batman and Robin. Who knows who they're going to show up next? Um, with her rigor mortis face, and Harry with his little puffball hair, and this is, they will never be presentable. They've lost that royal touch, and once you lose it, I don't think you ever get it back. There's no way back, especially here with the Four of Spears. Um, I think I think in some respects, I think Ari is like running, whether this is a business arrangement or I don't feel it's love. I feel it's a business arrangement. I still don't feel they are married, a married couple. I stand by that. I believe they are divorcing, and they just have some business contracts that they have to fulfill. Because you just go look at them at the Kevin Costner thing. They are not in tune with each other. They didn't even chat or talk about what was going on at that party. Little Robin was following Batman around like a little puppy dog, like a little lost puppy dog. Um, and that's not like, have you ever gone to a big party? Okay, honey, and and you kind of talk and get a feel of what's going on. And okay, yeah, well, I'll do this, especially if maybe your husband or your wife is doing something at a wedding, they're doing a presentation, and it'd be like, okay, when, like, you just kind of make plans or talk about those kind of things before you get there. I'm thinking they probably didn't even arrive together. They just coordinated their costumes, and away they went. All right. Well, thank you very much for spending this time with me. I sure appreciate you. Take good care. See you online. Bye for now.